I won't lie to you. This may just be the best origin story for Thor we've ever seen. One of the best? What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. Ragnarok Season 2 is now on Netflix. We're going to talk about it today. No spoilers in this video. So I need your comments down below. Did you enjoy Season 1? Were you excited about Season 2? Let's get into it. So, mythical chaos and environmental disaster loom as Magna looks for help to fight against colossal foes and contends with his unmanageable brother. And Season 1 was so unexpected, revolving around this small Norwegian town that was experiencing these ridiculously warm winters and these crazy intense downpours. And it was almost like this coming-of-age story where people were trying to respond to all of the crazy climate changes in this town. And so we're trying to figure out what's going on here. We're establishing who these characters are, but then we start to get an idea as the series progresses who they are really meant to be and what our main character here has to do. And Magna is such an intense character, especially in Season 2, what he is slowly morphing into both physically and mentally. We see his body going through changes here because he slowly starts to realize that he may just be the god of thunder. But what is the god of thunder without his hammer? And this season revolves around our main character essentially getting his hammer and trying to figure out what exactly he is turning into, what his destiny and his mission is inevitably, and how he's going to slow down and stop this family that is slowly but surely wreaking havoc across this town. And we pick up in episode 1 at the end of his violent battle with Vidar that ends with a bang, and you have this promise of violence to come, right? So we essentially have these two sides, these two forces, one of good and one what seems of evil, but the teams aren't as set as it seems like they're going to be in the first episode, because we do have a few individuals that are just trying to decide who they are and where they are at this point. And I think the best example of that is Laritz, whose character is just so conflicted throughout this season, trying to figure out where he belongs and who he is meant to be, because he is just not on board with all of Magna's nonsense. And we know that from Season 1. We kind of know that where they're going in Season 2. And as they're conversing with their mother, and she's trying to get behind what they are telling her, and we see both of these characters go through these individual changes physically and mentally. It is one of the better character studies I have seen on Netflix all year, because you're dealing with this mythology, A, and then B, there's not a clear-cut good and a clear-cut evil here. We have multiple characters who are conflicted internally and externally. I mean, even Magna, we know who he is meant to be, at least we think we know, but he is just trying to gather together these forces because he knows that Ragnarok is coming. So I found that to be fascinating, something that I really wanted from Season 1. Season 1 was much more of that build-up with that climactic finale. Season 2, well, it's much more consistent in learning who these characters are, and I appreciate that. And we also don't get as much of the coming-of-age type story that we got in Season 1. Now that Magna, he kind of accepts who he is, and it's very evident who he is at this point. We can really hone in and focus on the battle at hand and bringing together our forces and exploring these characters, something that I think Ragnarok is doing a lot of in Season 2. Now, I do inevitably see the complaints that Season 2 does not progress the story forward maybe as much as I anticipated it to. I thought we would be a bit further along by the time we get to the end. By the way, the end of this season I thought was spectacular. I love the way that we kind of just leave things off. But we'll talk about that maybe, if you guys want it, in another video. But there are some elements of Season 2 where it just kind of drags along at a slow pace. And I was sitting back thinking, I really wish we could move quicker. But at the same time, I do love getting this character exploration across the board. And I just really love the style of the show. Every time we cut to the title card, every time we are getting that haunting moment with a character. I mean, just in the first episode, we get a moment with Magna that almost transports him to another world where he's having a conversation, and I love that. I thought it was so cool. It's so epic. And it gives Ragnarok this fantastical feel that we got a taste of, a hint of in Season 1. But we're really going all the way towards that in Season 2. And I loved it. And I truly believe that Ragnarok is slowly morphing into this show that at the end of the day, when we're looking back at it, could be really special. And not that it started with Season 2, because I thought Season 1 did a great job of building this up. But in my opinion, Season 2 exceeded Season 1. I liked it even better. And as great as Magne and Fjord and Saxa are as characters, it's really Lauritz and his story and just trying to decipher and figure out where he's going to end up as a character. And there's a lot here that we can grasp onto and say, they're exploring the lore of Thor and, all the other characters that we'll get into inevitably, but they're also adding a new modern-ish spin and twist onto it, which I think is really cool. So this is kind of a lame way to say it, but this show's really cool. Ragnarok is really cool, and I think a lot of people are missing out. I know you guys, you're watching this review. Obviously, you've watched the show. You're not missing out. But I think a lot of people are missing out on possibly the next great show on Netflix, and I'm just happy to be along for the ride. And at the end of the day, before I give you guys my score, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this Netflix review, drop your thumbs up down below. More Netflix reviews this weekend. Ragnarok is slowly morphing into this epic show, and Season 2 provides some fascinating build-up for these characters, along with its signature style. I'm going an 80% for Season 2. Again, maybe the pacing will be an issue for some, but I just love the exploration of these characters, getting that emotion. The performances were great. The style is really good. The direction is awesome. But it is setting up crazier and more grand things to come, and I can just imagine where the next few seasons are going to go. So let's get on board with this show. Let's tell our friends I think Ragnarok is a show that is worth watching on Netflix. You guys the best. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see a spoiler review, let me know, and I'll see you soon.